Hi guys, Jen CB here with Believe in Your Dream Life Coaching Motivational Speaking, where I help elevate your mind, body, and spirit connection. Tonight we're going to get real and raw with regards to grief. Okay, and this is based on this past week, and what I wanted to do was to really tap into the rawness of grief. We all experience grief, okay? And this is a commonality between everybody. At some point in your life, you are going to experience some sort of grief. And it's important to talk about it, to share about it, to move through it and heal from it so you can move on your life's path. All right. Now, grief, when I talk about grief, it can be a loss of a loved one, right? It can be the loss of a pet, it can be the loss of a job in that sense too, right? It can be the loss of a job too. And it affects us so differently, and we are all different. We are all different in terms of healing. And so what I wanted to do tonight is to share with you the rawness of my grief, and also the tools and tidbits and tricks that I have done along my path in order for me to get where I am now. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm also going to talk about the fairy cards as well. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit. Okay, so we're first going to talk about grief. All right. And for those of you who are new, I'll just share just a brief example of my grief. Okay, so a year ago, I was living the dream, right? Believe in your dream. Life coaching, motivational speaking was up and running, and talking about active, healthy living and goal setting and living your best life, etc. And teaching meditation classes, and about to start a new television show on Rogers, etc. And all of a sudden, my husband, who had just turned 40, woke up to stroke-like symptoms, and within 5 days, I had to make that decision. I had to make that decision to take him off life support. Hardest decision of my life. I could, and there are still times now, this is 11 months later, I'm like, shit, did that really happen? And I'm going to be cursing a couple of times maybe tonight too as we move through this, because it is about moving through the muck, the shit. But we need to move through it. We need to feel it, and we need to move through it, okay? Thank you so much for joining. And if you are on tonight and want to share your grief story, etc., it is important to know that we are not alone. You are not alone on your grief journey. And that is why I've chosen to celebrate it and to share my experiences, so that you know, even in the darkest of moments, you're not alone. I had 2 massive grief waves that happened last night, and in those darkest of moments, you feel alone. But I allow myself to feel those waves come, and crying, and the eyes are puffy, and it's just, life is so tough and raw, and I'm feeling alone, and Derek's not with me anymore, and that's what sparked this idea. You know what? This word has got to get out. Just like mental health awareness needs to be talked about and shared, grief awareness too needs to be shared as well. Okay. Let's start with grief though. Let's start with the rawness of grief. Okay. I've heard so many people, and I can agree to this, that I don't think anybody could ever fully heal. And excuse me, there's bugs out here, but I wanted to be in nature tonight. So I had to itch my ankle. I think everybody experiences grief, and they never truly get over it. They learn to cope with it, and they bring in coping mechanisms, etc. But moving through it, there is a scar there. There is a scar there. PTSD. How many of you have had PTSD with your grief experience? And I wanted to share with you actually some of my PTSD symptoms. Some of the symptoms that I endured over the last year, short-term memory loss. So here I am in my mid-30s, and I have had short-term memory loss now. There are blocks of time that have been erased. I have no idea what happened. I had a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh yeah, you remember you called me like at the at the airport, at the hospital." And I said, "Nope, don't remember that one. Sorry." And it is frustrating, and I feel frustrated. Okay. Another one is speech impediment, as I've experienced just now. The thought to speech process kind of pauses a little bit, or the neurotransmitters don't fire as much. That's a symptom of PTSD, and that happened early in my grief chat. You know, episodes 1, 2, and months 1, 2, and 3, and then all of a sudden it happened. And myself and a bunch of friends were out Friday night, and it happened again. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is unreal. I can't believe this is happening again. So speech impediments happen. And you think, for myself, I think I'm a speaker, I'm a teacher. This is normally easy for me. And it's tough when you are in the middle of speaking and all of a sudden you slur some words, or you're thinking, as I just articulated, I'm thinking all of a sudden the airport came in and I wanted to talk about the hospital. It happens, and it's frustrating. It is very frustrating. And I allow myself to say that. It is frustrating. Okay? So I wanted to encourage you. It is okay to say that if you are frustrated along your path, if you are experiencing grief in any sort of means. But I need to move through it. I don't just sit there. I need to move through it. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you all are enjoying the evening. It is gorgeous out in my backyard. And so with that, for those of the people who have just joined in, we are talking about grief awareness. So if you are experiencing any type of grief awareness, you're more than welcome to share or just listen, etc. And we will get to the fairy cards in just a little bit. Another symptom of PTSD, decision-making skills. Here I had to make the most important decision. You know, in the most difficult decision of my life. And now, if somebody says to me, "Oh, Jen, do you want to go out for dinner?" In months 1 to 6, I actually was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't make the decision. I don't know where I'm going," and I start to hyperventilate a little bit. It is easier now. It does get easier, but that's another symptom of PTSD. My signature, because my signature was a cause and effect, right? My signature was the one responsible for pulling the plug in that sense. Hi Chris, thanks for joining in. Every time I wrote my signature down, you know, afterwards I start to get flashbacks. Okay, very difficult, very difficult. But I'm also here to share this with you to let you know that you are not alone if you're experiencing this or other types of PTSD. You are not alone in this. Hi Marianne, how are you? So it is important to know that you are most definitely not alone on your journey, even though you might feel alone. Okay. Some of the things that have helped me, because as a life coach, you know, coaching is important for the big game, right? And I apply the athletic background, right? In terms of moving along your path, lots of things happen. Even though I'm a spiritual being, you know, I talk about the spirit realm, etc., and active healthy living, it doesn't defer me away from living the human experience and the rawness of tough choices and experiences in life. And so life coaching, we need to establish fundamentals so that when those big games happen, it's important that you're able to move through it. So some of the things that have helped me moving through this grief over the past year, helping me move forward along my path, okay? Counseling. Definitely have gone to counseling. Highly recommend it. Life coaching and counseling are very different, and maybe one of these episodes I will decipher between the two. But just for starters now, counseling. Art therapy has helped me move through. If you are looking for alternative medicines, art therapy definitely helped me work through a lot of guilt that I was having earlier this year. Okay, journaling. Okay, getting those negative thoughts and energies out from you, moving through that is important for you to journal. I keep actually 4 or 5 different journals around the house, just so that at any moment if I have a thought, I write it down and I move through it. The gym. For me, it's a fundamental. I work out 4 to 5 days a week, and even after Derek passed, within 48 hours, I was back at the gym. I walked in, and with my decision-making skills were zero, it was important for me to just be in that environment. I could not formulate a workout. I walked in and thought, where do I begin? How do I start? And I've gone to the gym for years. You know, as an international semi-pro athlete here, I can't even put a workout together. And it took me a lot of months, you know, many, many months to get back on track. It's only been the last 2 months that I've been able to go in with confidence into the gym and formulate my own workout and be proud of that. But even in the beginning, I was still part of the gym, and I just sat there in the middle of the studio and just stretched. Okay. Meditation definitely helps. I have been practicing the art of meditation for over 10 years. Different styles of meditation, even walking meditation or being in, you know, Mother Earth. It is important. It's important to meditate as well to help heal that body, move forward along your path. Okay. So a couple little things, including groups. Okay. Soaring Spirits International is a wonderful group. And I know books as well. Option B is another one that I've read, and that's a wonderful book to read. A buddy of mine, and I've tagged him actually in this, Better Not Bitter Widower. John Paulo is a wonderful gentleman. He is a fellow widower himself and has just released his book, Widowed, and you can get that on Amazon, but if you double click, I've clicked the hyperlink for you on this live feed for you. Okay. Hi Lillian, hope you're doing well. And so tonight, again, as new people are joining in, I wanted to reestablish the fact we are talking about grief awareness and the rawness of it. It's important to understand and to accept. Okay, this is shit. This sucks. But these tools that I've just articulated will help you move through. And they're just a couple, okay? They're just a couple that have helped me through this past year and continuing to move through. So even last night in the darkest of moments and just scared and alone and just so frustrated that my husband's no longer with me on this plane, I got up this morning and I thought, I am going to the gym. I am. I just need to practice the fundamentals of what I'm used to, like going to the gym, like meditating, like journaling. And that helps the grief waves move through me so I can continue to move along my path. Okay. That's essentially what it means about moving through the waves. And we're going to continue talking about grief over this year. I've definitely incorporated it into my business, Believe in Your Dream coaching, so that if you are having any sort of difficulty with regards to grief or moving through, can definitely help you out or point you in the right direction with the resources, because there are an abundance of resources out there to help, and all you need to do is ask. And sometimes it is difficult, very difficult when you are feeling low, to ask. But I'm here to help on that, okay? And you know that you are not alone. And I feel like, no, even though sometimes I do feel alone, I know at the end of the day, I'm not alone, okay? And so with that being said,